This is Andy Tube, and this is the Singer Model 347 of Lelia. I've completed the restoration, and maybe you saw the slideshows of that and stuff. And this is just a final sewing test to be sure I've got everything set up the best that I can. And I've lowered the feed dogs more where they should be, and I moved the needle a little bit away from the hook point, if you saw that video, because it was breaking the thread. And for Chet, yeah, that fixed the problem, because he'd kind of asked me if that took care of the breaking the thread problem, and it did. It's actually sewn real good. So I just have a couple layers of this polyester with a fill layer inside to give it a little body, and I'm just going to sew number 6 straight stitch here, and take that away. And I'm real happy with how it turned out. I've quieted it down, fixed all the problems, and I think that Lelia will be pleased. I hope she will be. I'm going to do the number 4, the widest zigzag stitch I can at that same length of stitch. Oops, not too straight, but I think you'll get the idea. Uh-oh. Look at that, I ran out of bobbin thread. Darn. Well, let me show you these before I wind another bobbin. And you can see those coming out nice. A nice balanced stitch on the bobbin side. Let me wind a bobbin, and I wound a new bobbin. Sorry about that, folks. Mea culpa. I'm going to run another zigzag since I didn't finish that. Ran out of bobbin thread, so even a little more crooked. But the other stitch that I have on this machine, it's got kind of a little mini cam stack. When it just has the zigzag cam only, I just kind of call it a pattern selector. But this actually has 2 cams, and the other cam is a blind hem, and it's just got a little disc over here that you turn to the right away from zigzag to blind hem. And I'll sew that. I'll go to about an 8, but as wide as it'll go. See if I can do straighter this time. Yep. Let's see if that'll show up there. It's always hard to see in the little camera I use. There's your blind hem, and the underside bobbin thread. So I'm happy with that. It's making a nice lock stitch between the layers of fabric. And so let's see what else I got here. Here is some a little bit thicker fleece. Now this is a standard needle. I probably should have a ballpoint needle in here to really sew, you know, this type of fabric. But I think if I just go carefully and take my time, I won't get caught in the fabric. So let's see if we can do these layers here. Go back to a 6. Now, this machine, you know, compared to like the 301, 401, 404, 500, 503, like that, this has a motor belt and a timing belt. But the worm gear and the upper gear here is all metal, and the pulleys are all metal. So I think, you know, I'm always surprised at the power these can turn out, because the motor doesn't have as many amps as the other models that I listed, but they can sew layers. The slant needles have more room under the presser foot, you know, but it sewed that just fine. So what I've got here is an old test I've used on several machines. This is 2 layers of heavy denim, and I've got several stitches that I, you know, put through there. I was going to toss it, but I thought, well, let me put that on top of this fleece and see if we can sew through the 3 layers of the polyester, then the fleece, and now, if I can get that, oh, I got the needle in the way. Yeah, that'll go under there. So let me, yeah, that's away from the other, so let's go through that. Should be no problem. And the back tack is working good, the reverse, no problem. Machine turned out pretty good. If I understood Lelia right, you know, she bought it new in 1964, sewed on it quite a bit, and she now has 3 other machines, but she pulled this out of storage where I think it's been for about 20 years, and she wanted it all cleaned up and stuff to start using it again. And so I can't say no to a blue machine, right? So you saw it go through all of those layers, no problem. I think she's doing some quilting, is why I want to do a layer test. And then there's the straight stitch bobbin thread on the bottom. So that's pretty sweet. I don't think she's going to have any troubles, you know. Here's my old leather belt scrap test strip. Let's see if this machine can handle that. And this is, you know, like I said, just a standard needle. It's not a leather needle, or I don't have a rolling foot or a walking foot or anything. But I'm interested to see. Sometimes on these belt drives, I've had to turn the hand wheel so that the needle pierces the leather, you know, or heavy vinyl, something like that. And I'm going to try just not doing that. You know, I was always told to start your stitch with the take-up lever at the highest point, ready to come down. And that's why you don't see me holding on to the thread back here, right? Yeah, everybody says, oh, hold on to this when you start. Well, if your take-up lever's down and has to come up first, it's going to suck that thread right out of the needle. So I think that's why, you know, the idea of holding it. I've never done that, but I don't sew that much, you know. But if you start up here, you don't have to worry about that thread back there, and you kind of have your ready to go. So let's just try it and see if it goes. Whoops. Well, it went in reverse. Okay. It didn't have any problem. Let me put it back in forward here. And yay. These old singers, I'll tell you. I wish I still worked this good. I'm older than this machine, and I've had a hard life. So I don't know if you can see that darker blue stitch there. Pretty top stitch. That rose colored one is the bottom. So yeah, Let me get my take-up lever all the way up here again. And I guess for the last, I got a little time left on the recording. I don't know if I can get all of this under there, to be honest. But let's try. Let me turn it back the opposite way. Oh man. Okay, I got it under there. We're gonna see how good those feed dogs are now, right? And I'm still not gonna pierce anything. I'm just gonna start sewing. We'll see if it can do the old belt, 2 layers of denim, the fleece, and 3 layers of polyester here. That'd be a heck of a quilt, wouldn't it? I think I better lighten up that tension a little bit. You see how it's curling it up there? I'm going to lighten the tension because it's going through all those layers. Alrighty. Whew. I'm always impressed when I work on these. So, the darker blue down the center, you see that rose, that was the bottom stitch last time. So I flipped it over to sew by that. And then here's the bottom. It's kind of puckered because I got all these layers, 2 layers of denim and the old leather. So yay! I imagine Lelia is going to be pretty. So I'm sure happy about how the machine turned out, and I'm pleased. I think she will be. So I'm just going to get my brush and vacuum and clean out all the lint from my testing and put the bottom cover back on. I haven't put that on because I wanted to hear it running, and then I wipe it down with a just barely damp microfiber cloth. I'm going to put one more coat of carnauba wax on it, and then it'll be ready to go. Thanks for tuning in. I hope that was interesting for you. And I guess some stuff I have in the future for you is I have another subscriber who kind of followed my 404 videos as a guide, and she did a different model and contacted me a little bit, a couple questions here and there, and kind of one defective part, but wow, did she do a great job. And her name's Shelly, and she gave me permission to use her pictures on my channel. She feels the same way I do. I think that she, want to encourage people to clean up their machines, even up to a full restore. And so I'm looking forward, when I get time, to make a slideshow of Shelly's Slant-O-Matic. And then I've been dying to do Coco. I want to do a playlist for a machine named Coco. So watch for a Coco. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you come back and see me. And you're welcome. Any questions, comments, subscribe. Things like that. Take care.